I think we're in for a good one today. I have to say sometimes we do a game. Those are always great to look forward to. Sometimes it's like pop culture news heavy because we did a game the week before and we have to catch up or something. Sometimes we're just hanging out. We're just talking, right? This feels like a good grab bag, like a good mix of stuff here that we got. Yeah, it'll be an interesting, fun podcast for sure. I'll go ahead and kick things off. I went back to that Pops soda place that's not too far from me. It's like a little diner, soda shop, truck stop, as well as a gas station, stuff like that. But they sell all kinds of sodas from across the country of all kinds, all flavors. So I have a Cock and Bull ginger beer. Since 1946, the extra ginger soft drink. And it says a Moscow Mule mixer. And they have the the recipe on the back. How to make a Moscow Mule. Shot of vodka, juice, half lime, ice cubes, Cock and Bull ginger beer, and then drop in, squeeze half lime, stir gently, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I'm going to try this guy as we're hanging out. Melissa,
nice to have
yeah.
I just think it's nice that a bottle also includes a recipe. Normally people don't fit that much information on a glass soda bottle.
Right? That's actually kind of a neat idea to be like, hey, here's a good, like, you can mix this in with this and it's fantastic. Yeah, so Cock and Bull ginger beer. Let's see how this is. Very gingery. They're right on the extra ginger soft drink. That is like the most gingery ginger ale that I've had. It's good.
I'm not sure if I've ever had a ginger ale, and I don't know what the difference is between a ginger ale and a ginger beer.
To be honest, I guess I don't really know either what the difference is between the two. This is a ginger beer. I know I just said ginger ale. I don't have ginger beer very often. Is one more fermented? I guess ale is a beer too, so right? No,
the quick Google says ginger beer is stronger tasting and spicier than ginger ale, but less carbonated.
This has like a spicy aftertaste. It has like a not smoky, but it has like an aftertaste that lingers. But I would say this is carbonated. Like it's pretty well carbonated.
It's just less carbonated than a ginger ale.
I guess.
Open up two and compare. Count the bubbles.
I wish I did have one. Yeah. How many bubbles? But yeah, this is good. I'm enjoying this. Melissa, how was your week though?
It's been okay. I wanted to ask you, normally you drink a Mountain Dew. We frequently have a novelty Mountain Dew. I say we, but you taste them. I think I've bought one Mountain Dew in the history of the show.
I sometimes let you know when I have them, or like I've had one in the off chance that you do, and you always come back with the like, I don't want to open a whole bottle and only take one sip, and then
it's inefficient. It's wasteful. You know, if we were doing this in person, I'd pay for half, and we can open up a bottle and split it. But I'm not doing that on my own. Would you like to meet Mountain Dew?
Mr. Dew himself? Mountain Dew?
Would you? Yes.
Can I meet him? Yes.
I don't know if you literally can. I'm just asking if you would want to.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you were at a theme park and they had somebody dressed. First off, is a Mountain Dew mascot costume a can or a bottle?
I feel like I feel like nowadays the bottle.
I think
yeah.
a bottle,
I don't know.
human's more shaped like a bottle than we are like cans.
Sure,
I think
yeah.
you can put a human in a bottle costume easier than you can put a human in a can costume.
Can you put a human in a can? That's what I don't know here on the Whatnauts.
I ask this because there is a YouTube channel I watch called Disney Dan. And Disney Dan primarily talks about the parks and specifically mascot character costumes in the parks and surrounded environs such as Disney on Ice. He'll cover all these different characters and go through the history of how they have been represented in physical real world costumes. They're really interesting. They're insightful. They're very fun. He loves to learn about these. He's very enthusiastic. And I watched a series he did where he went to Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
I've been there.
He challenged himself to meet all the different costume characters they have for the candies and eat. He's like, I'm going to meet Hershey Bar and make him watch while I eat a Hershey Bar. He's like, I want to do this for every single one. He's like, I'm going to keep coming back until I have crossed off every single character that they've listed on the website as a potential option. Even if some of them are weird, rare, once a year characters. He's like, I'm going to keep doing it.
He thinks he's marked them all off, and then the next year they announce a new candy. He's like, no, I have to go back.
Well, some of them are there all the time. Hershey's, Reese's, Miss Kiss, the weird Twizzler lady, Jolly Rancher, which I spent way too much time.
Lady, a weird one. What makes her so weird?
Can you Google them? Can you Google Hershey Park characters and look at them?
Hershey Park.
Did you see these fine folks when did you go to Hershey Park?
I have been to Hershey Park, but it was when I was really, really young. So I almost don't remember it at all. The only thing I kind of remember was being on one of those. Oh, she is horrifying.
What's weird about her is that she is an entire bundle of Twizzlers, whereas everybody else is like one whole
She's like a
object.
single pull and peel Twizzler. I was about to make this up and down motion here. But this is what she looks like. I just pulled her up on screen. She's right here in red. Yeah, just this like singular long phallic shape. But yeah,
a lady.
More like,
she's a big rectangular lady in a nice red dress.
Yeah. And then we have this. Oh, wait, are you talking about the woman next to her? I'm on their website and they have the like mascot looking Twizzlers, and then there's this woman. Next to her in this like I'm not some head piece. I'm not even sure what you call it here.
Like a Twizzler turban. Like she took a Twizzler, one pull and peel strand, and wrapped it around her head. This was something I saw in the video, that every one of these candies has, of course, a minder, a companion, a human representative.
A microphone. Yeah.
And frequently they're like in an outfit that coordinates with the individual candy. Like if Miss Kiss comes out, the minder is wearing like a little silver dress like the Hershey's Kiss candy. It's very cute. I like that a lot. It doesn't get that specific at like Disney World. If Mickey and his handler come out, the handler's not also dressed like Mickey.
Yeah. It's interesting to me because I didn't notice she had a microphone on at first. And the picture that they have of this woman who's in this like bright pink, almost like reflective pink dress. She has her arms up almost like T-Rex arms, and her mouth is like wide open, like she's screaming or something. So I thought she was just some like horrified park goer being like, oh my god, the Twizzler lady is here. But no, she is the Twizzler lady companion then.
Yeah, creative partner. Yeah, she's got a headset. Looks like they're singing. They're doing some sort of a show, maybe.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting.
But I was watching this video of him trying to meet every candy, from the popular ones to seeing if he can meet the really obscure ones like Nutrageous or Symphony Bar. And when he's there, he does have the opportunity to meet a bottle of Hershey's chocolate syrup. Which you just, Kyle, go to Google. Don't go to the official website. Like, I just typed in Hershey Park characters and chocolate syrups, like, there on the first page.
Hershey Park.
So when I was a kid, I would take any form of chocolate I was provided. I'm still that way today, constantly chocolate hungry. But I didn't like Hershey's syrup that much. Like, very quickly, I was like, oh, no, hot fudge is what I like. I want the real stuff. Give me the fudge. I don't want this syrup. It tastes thin. But when I saw the costume character of Hershey's chocolate syrup, I was so excited. Like, I want to meet it. I want to meet chocolate syrup. It's not my favorite food, but I want to hug the syrup bottle. I think because as an adult, I grew out of syrup, like I said, went entirely over to the hot fudge side. So chocolate syrup exists solely in my childhood. I don't have it as an adult. So when I look at it, it takes me right back to like being little. And like, I want to hug the chocolate syrup bottle. I'd hug any of them. Big Reese's fan over here. I'd hug the weird Twizzler. I love the big, wide Hershey's Kiss. But something about that chocolate syrup just made me very happy. And I wanted to ask you, is there a product you'd like to meet and greet? Like in this sort of scenario? Like if there was like PepsiCo theme park and you could meet Mountain Dew. What if you could meet different kinds? Like you can meet Mountain Dew and Baja Blast and Code Red.
Right, yeah.
What would they look like? How would they behave? Do they have like different personalities?
Oh, they absolutely would have different personalities. Baja Blast would be the like he'd be the like party dude. It's just the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme, right? Yeah, I could see him like acting out a little bit more. Code Red, I feel like could be the anxious one that's always like sounding the alarm.
Code Head is the emotion of fear.
There you go. It's the Green Lantern Corps and all of the respective light stuff. Who knows?
See, I was thinking that like I think Baja Blast is more mellow. And Code Red has more of an X Games energy.
Yeah, potentially. I don't know. I at least for the bit, I would absolutely like go take a picture, get a video, so that I could present it here on the podcast and be like, look at the stupid thing that I did this week.
No, I would meet. You got to be sweet. You got to be sincere. I would be so excited
absolutely.
to meet a product. Just
like I like on the actual video, I'd just be like, oh my God, you're my biggest hero. Like I love you. I buy Mountain Dew every day. Like my doctor has told me to stop.
I don't buy it in bulk.
My doctor has said I'm going to die if I don't stop, but I won't stop because I love Mountain Dew. So this is just like, man, a dream come true, right?
It was fun to watch people interact with the Hershey's Park characters because there's no narrative around them.
Yeah.
They're not characters the way like Mickey and Minnie and Donald and Goofy and Pluto are. So like,
I don't know. Like the Hershey's syrup, his name is Herschel, right? And it's like, Herschel, the syrup bottle. And it's
how
just
does
like,
syrup behave?
The syrup bottle.
He's a real drip. But so Disney Dan goes and eats the candy in front of the candy. And Kit Kat is scandalized. Kit Kat like puts its hands up by its mouth and like turns around. And I think Reese's just like laughs like, oh, you. And right. Hershey's Kiss just like stares. Hershey's Kiss doesn't move.
Frozen in fear. That's so funny. I've probably interacted with a few of them when I went there, but yeah, like the one thing I remember was being on one of those the tours of the chocolate factory, and at the end of the tour they give you a Hershey bar.
Yes.
And that was like the big draw of like, can we go back? I want a free Hershey bar.
I do want to go. I want to meet these guys. I want to go on the tour. I want to visit. Like in the store, you can buy like all of these different flavors and formats. Like I think I saw him hold up like a big Reese's cup. I want a Reese's cup that I can slice like a pie.
Yeah.
I want to go buy that. Take me to Pennsylvania.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't have any other like food stuff to follow that up with.
That's okay.
But I can jump to this. Speaking of tours and a good time, I went to go see Joyride. This is the new comedy that's in. It came out last week. I guess by time this is out, it'll have already been out for like a week and a half ish. But when I went to go see that yesterday, Wednesday night, and I had a blast. Melissa, this movie's good.
Good. I saw the trailer. It looked like a lot of fun.
I went in not really knowing what to expect. I'm also not. I'm not as like, yes, let's go to a comedy at the like.
Comedies
movies.
Are tricky. Yeah.
It's sometimes the comedy will hit. Sometimes it'll be good comedy for someone else, but maybe not you, right? Yeah, and so I just kind of went in being like, the trailer looked good. I'm interested, but I don't know what to expect exactly. And I have to say, I had a blast. This was great. I laughed so hard. It is raunchy. It is irreverent. It's a blast. It will also make you cry.
That's what I heard.
It gets very emotional at one bit, and you kind of know it's coming, but even still, it's just like, oh, this is so sad. But yeah, I had a blast with that, so I recommend it. I think it'll probably be up there with one of the best comedies of the year, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, so I went to go see that, but then Melissa, you and I also both went to go see Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yes, Part 1.
We saved cinema because we went to go see this, and we supported Tom Cruise. We saved cinema thanks to us.
I try and save cinema every week. I've been keeping a list. I think I've been to like 21 new movies so far this year. You're also quite a film goer. We both have to be professionally, I guess. But I saw Mission Impossible. I saw it in IMAX. And then tomorrow I'm going to go to the Science Center and see it in like film IMAX projected on a giant dome. I'm going to see it on literally the biggest screen I can find anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to say much on Mission Impossible because we're also planning to do a spoiler cast for it. We're recording that this weekend. So be on the lookout for that over on the Reactor Core feed real soon here. But I will say that it was a blast. I enjoyed it a lot. If you've seen all of the Mission Impossibles, I think this will just slide right in there. You'll have a great time. If you're someone who hasn't seen as many of them or haven't really kept up with it, I think this is an accessible one that you can go in, and I don't think you really need to know much of the other ones, and I think this one does a good job of explaining everything you need to know. So there you go. I had a blast with that. But yeah, I guess to round things out for our cinema corner stuff, Melissa, I started what I call hot Akira Summer. I've been buying up the manga of Akira. Something I've been wanting to do for a long time because I love the animated movie. It's incredible. It's a classic. I don't really need to convince anyone of that. But I've never read the manga. And as a big like sci-fi cyberpunk fan, that's always been like, how come I haven't read Akira? And so last fall I started buying up the volumes, and I've fallen behind in a bunch of my comics. And over the past couple weeks, caught up on all of them. I read all my Marvel stuff. I read all my DC stuff. Read some more House of Slaughter, the spin-off for Something Is Killing the Children. Read Radiant Black, which I've been mentioning on a few of our Whatnauts podcasts. But I finally started Akira, and there's, I think, 7 volumes. And I have read the first 2, which is actually more than I was like. I'm farther along than I thought I would be right now. I thought I would read like 1 a week and just go from there, because they are big volumes. They are thick, but they're also taller than most manga.
That's right.
It's
I've
like
seen those
bigger comic book, like it's almost the Western size, but it's not exactly, I don't think. So I was not expecting to get very far, but they still read like a breeze. And so that's why I read like all 360 pages of volume 1 that first night in like 2 hours. And then I picked up volume 2 that next night, and I read that all in one sitting. So it's interesting. The one thing that I know about this that I'm looking forward to is that the movie really only covers like the first 2 volumes. Like it's the first one, most of the second, and then I'm guessing some of the end of like how it all concludes. But there's a lot of it that is in the manga that did not make it into the movie, because they had to condense everything down. So I'm excited to see all of the new interesting stuff that's happening in that I don't know about. So I've seen the movie numerous times. So
Bartkira, do you intend to read that next?
It was not on my list per se. Because it's not an actual manga, right? It's just like a bunch of covers and like drawings inspired.
I'm seeing right? Here it's like a real book. I think you can get. Well, at least it was a real book you could have gotten. It looks like it is out of print now. But I think there's like, it's not just parody fan art. I think somebody literally started doing an all Simpsons version of the comic Akira. I think it can be read, not just looked at as a novelty.
Because I guess that's what I always thought it was just like, here's like really, really high quality, like commissioned art that was like, what if Akira, but Bart Simpson?
No, I Googled it and it's like volume 1, start reading.
Interesting. Okay.
It's this is a full online graphic novel.
Who knows?
Wow, it's got like a title page.
Maybe I'll get to that one day. At once I've read the whole thing, I'm like, and now the piece de resistance. Bartkira.
You've read all of Akira and I haven't, and then we both start Bartkira together for an episode.
Like I feel like though if I start going down that road, then I have to start watching the old Japanese like Spider-Man show that was on there, as well as there's the Batman manga that's out there that I actually like want to read, because I that's not meant to be like a spoof or anything. It's just like here's a Batman manga in the like classic Golden Age style Batman, which I think sounds fantastic.
I hope he solves. I hope there's something distinctly Japanese about it. Like, I hope Batman solves the case of the monster with 21 faces.
Probably, right? Who knows?
If anyone could, Batman could.
Exactly. He has like monster repellent on his utility belt, and that's how he wins the day.
He's like, yeah, I meant this for nuclear creatures, but I guess I can use it on somebody who is blackmailing the company that made Pocky, saying they've poisoned a bunch of Pocky unless the Glico company gives them all this money, signing their letters, the monster with 21 faces. I can find that culprit and throw a can of repellent at them.
God, I'd read that. I'd so read that. Man.
Would you like to hug a can of shark repellent if you went to Six Flags and they had somebody dressed up as Batman you could meet, but then they also had somebody walking around in a big cylinder dressed as shark repellent? You can meet and greet shark repellent.
So,
like, give it a hug, hand it your baby.
Hand it your baby. So in
or maybe it just reaches out and like pats your baby on the head.
Pat. So in catching up on my comics, I started to read the first couple arcs of Batman that Chip Zdarsky has been writing. He's been fantastic on Daredevil, and so I was like, I need to finally check out his Batman run here. I really enjoyed the first arc that he had there, but I have to tell you some of the things that happened in this second arc. So if you're out there and you want to read this and you don't want spoilers, I'm gonna have some major spoilers for Chip Zdarsky's Batman run here. So this second arc ends up kind of being a multiverse story, a Batman multiverse story, in which he goes to a multiverse where there is a guy that is the same guy that's meant to be the Joker, but he hasn't become the Joker yet. And through a whole bunch of stuff, he knows that there's other multiverses. He knows the Joker exists, and he feels like he is like the quintessential chaos energy, and he wants to become him. So he's trying to like lure Batman into this universe to see if like that will help him become the Joker. So strange stuff. But he ends up going to going to like Tim Burton's Batman universe, Batman 89. He goes to the he goes to the Adam West Batman universe, and there's that one point where he's like, well, you wouldn't be Batman without a utility belt, would you? In his like Adam West, like you can absolutely hear like the way he wrote the dialogue. It's like, that's Adam West, that's him. But he gives Batman his utility belt, and then later on in the story he's trapped, and he's trapped underwater or something, and there's a shark that's after him, and he's like, oh no, like I don't have anything, and he's like, what do I have in my belt? And he just happens to be like, yes, shark repellent. He has the bat shark repellent, and it's such a stupid but great moment. Like I'm obviously like smiling ear to ear here, but also at the same time I'm like, it's just a multiverse story. Like we've seen this, we've seen it in Spider-Man. Why does everyone need to do a multiverse story? But he has fun with this, and it works for this moment. Just like, what is this? Shark repellent? Huh? Why didn't I think of that? Right? Just like, this is great.
Anybody who's had enough versions of themselves gets to have a multiverse. I want to see a Sherlock Holmes multiverse, which anyone can do because he's in the public domain. But I want him to meet every version of himself including like
Benedict Cumberbatch,
the ones that are right, including the ones that are more abstract, like Basil of Baker Street, The Great Mouse Detective, and House. Because House is very loosely but distinctly a Sherlock Holmes story.
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch, Robert Downey Jr., Johnny Lee Miller, House. Hugh Laurie is there, and a cartoon mouse is there.
Oh man, yeah. So I read that. I thought I would share that anecdote because you reminded me of shark repellent.
They have to fight every Moriarty standing on each other's shoulders.
Including Elijah Wood from Yellow Jackets. It's like, I'm someone's Moriarty.
Welcome to the ultimate like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It's everyone who's ever been a literal or metaphorical Moriarty. If you've called yourself a Moriarty to somebody's Sherlock, you're sucked into a dang portal now. You have to be at one big round table with all the other ones.
We should come up with, I mean, it's essentially us making a like draft your own like superhero team, but we should do our like, who's our League of Extraordinary Gentlemen for a modern day
I like that
era.
Yes,
we should do something like that. That'd be fun. I've been thinking about that as we've been like watching all of these major franchises, because like it absolutely would be like Ethan Hunt, Dom Toretto, it'd be
John Wick.
It'd be John Wick. Yeah, exactly. It'd be all of the you'd have to have someone who's like the man in the chair, right? So do you get Ned Leeds from Spider-Man to be in that with them?
Who now I gotta remember who is in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It's Captain Nemo, Alan Quartermain, Dorian Gray, Mina Harker, Dr. Henry Jekyll. I never thought of him having a first name. Tom Sawyer. There is a Moriarty in there.
Yep.
Good. Like who? Like a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen for like years and years in the future. So like what I guess Captain Nemo is to us today, like 100 years from now, they just are going to do this where like everything's sort of flattened out. It's like, John Wick and Dom Toretto are in the public domain and they're now a gentleman. I don't know what Dom Toretto's doing to be classified as a gentleman. I guess he's put on a shirt that like buttons all the way. He's wearing a tie. I think if you put Dom Toretto in a tie, he like collapses. It's like if you give Superman kryptonite.
His weakness, yeah.
He had his high school like graduation photo taken. Right, exactly. Refused, walked across the stage to get his diploma in work boots and jeans and a sleeveless shirt. He drove across the stage to get his diploma.
Good Lord. Anyways, I say we take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk about more of the strikes that are happening right now, as well as some casting news, which kind of might just be a moot point now that the strikes are happening. We will see what happens down the road, but we will be right back. Here at the Whatnauts, we make multiple different shows, and a lot of hard work goes into making them, so we would love it if you check them all out. If you enjoy our shows, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is the best place to show your support. For just $1 a month, you can get early access to episodes, and at our $3 tier, a Patreon exclusive podcast, The Pilots Club. You can even get a shout out and thank you on most of our shows at the $5 tier. And if you're one of our patrons already, thank you so much. It means the world to us. You can find out more information on our website, thewhatnauts.com, as well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. When you type in The Whatnauts, all of our shows will pop up right there. Just don't forget to give us a nice rating and review if you like the shows. You can also find us on YouTube and Twitch for video versions of the shows, trailer reactions, and live streams. And lastly, we have merch. If you want to grab yourself a shirt or a hoodie or a mug or something else, head over to the whatnauts.com/store to pick up some merch today. All right, we are back. Once again, a big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. We love you a lot. Thank you tons.
Thank you.
Means a bunch. Over on the Pilots Club this month, we are talking about Cable Girls. It's available on Netflix. It is a period piece set in the 1920s about a group of women that take jobs at a telecommunications company as switchboard operators. All their reasons for being there, however nefarious they might be, or innocuous. Maybe they just need a job. There's all sorts of stuff. This is a show that is much more soapy than I was expecting. It is basically a soap opera, but it is, from what I understand, a show that helped launch Netflix Spain. So I think that's pretty cool. Go check it out. The Pilots Club over on our Patreon at the $3 tier. Right here on the Captain's Log, last week we got to talk about the different styles of fireworks and discussing them as like what is the double pitched chesty of fireworks? Like, what are the moves that they do? Is there a name for certain combos? Stuff like that, right?
We didn't learn much, but we tried. We figured out a couple shapes. Big, we like the brocade. We like the willow.
Exactly. Melissa, you went to go see a musical called Chess, which seemed to be an incredible production. All kinds of stuff. If you want to hear about her experience with that, go check out last week's episode of the Captain's Log. And I had a Mountain Dew. That's it.
As every week.
We had a blast. Over on the review show, we are talking about a comic, a favorite graphic novel of mine called The Many Deaths of Lila Starr by Ram V and Felipe Andrade. I love that book. It's a quick read, 5 issues.
It is.
I think it's incredibly creative. The artwork is just gorgeous. The colors are amazing. I cannot recommend that book enough. And then, last but not least, the Reactor Core. I mentioned earlier to be on the lookout for our Mission Impossible spoiler cast. We have not recorded it yet, but we will be this weekend, so it'll be out in the near future. But we are also still keeping up with our Secret Invasion spoiler casts. However, we've decided to mush them together, kind of. So we recorded one today on episodes 3 and 4. And then once the show finally ends, we will have one on 5 and 6. So yeah, be on the lookout for that over on the Reactor Core down the road. Cool stuff. There you go. That's about housekeeping for right now. Something I forgot to mention that we should probably do real quick before we get into all the strike stuff is the results of our Summer Game Fest predictions.
Tell me how I did.
We invited Ignacio on the show. Unfortunately, he is sick. He has the flu. He said he could barely speak. So we wish him well. We hope he has a quick recovery. But he said we could go ahead and do the results here. So I'm gonna share, Melissa, this document with you once again. Let's see.
I don't remember having a document to begin with, but okay.
Oh, I think maybe Ignacio and I had one that we were we were like writing everything down on so we could keep track of it. But let me see. I'm going to put this in our Discord here for you for the Captain's Log. There you go. And then I will bring, I will bring this up on screen. Uh-oh, what did happen? Oh, there we go. Can I zoom in a little bit? Let me zoom into like 150. Okay, there we go. So Melissa, this was a pretty close one here.
It was. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'll mention all the questions and what the answers were in just a sec here. But yeah, Melissa, you won by 1 point. You are more magical than an 8-ball. You
by
you
one.
You've out magicked.
I'm a magic 9-ball over here. At first I was happy, and then I'm like, no, you're just one better than an anonymous inanimate Mattel toy.
Yeah, so about a month and a half ago, Ignacio came on the podcast. He was one of the hosts of our former video game podcast, Crossplay. I guess we've done this a few other times here on the Captain's Log, including here on the Captain's Log, but we made predictions for stuff that would happen at Summer Game Fest, or when E3 was still a thing. It was E3 predictions. But here are the questions. Here are the results. Will Xbox have a better showing than PlayStation? I think we can kind of easily say yes.
I'll take your word for it.
I know that's kind of up for debate, but I think generally speaking, you can say yes, that they had a better showing.
I was troubled. I know zero things about video games, which is why you challenged me and put me on the same level as a piece of plastic from a Toys R Us.
Yes.
But I was troubled by you asking me an objective question, like, will this thing
yes
be better
no.
than this thing?
Will Nintendo have a direct in June? The answer was yes. And Melissa, you got the point on that one. The 8-ball did not. And I will say that for the previous one, you guys both said no. So you guys got no points. 0 on that one. So Melissa's up 1. Is Nintendo going to show a new Mario game? The answer was yes. You guys both got that one.
What is it?
It is a new like side-scrolling 2D Mario called Super Mario Wonder. And it seems to be a game where he eats mushrooms in all the other games, but it seems like these mushrooms definitely add some funky effects to all of what's happening in the game here. So it looks like a big old drug trip, and it looks interesting. But yeah. In the Ubisoft Forward on June 12th, will we see gameplay from Assassin's Creed Mirage? Yes, we did. 8-ball said no on that one, so Melissa, you got the point. Will Ubisoft reveal any new info on a new Splinter Cell game? I was hoping. You both had a resounding yes. The answer was no. Is Sephiroth going to show up? You guys both said yes, and the answer was yes. He appeared in a trailer in this here for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2.
Oh boy.
Yeah. After that, is Starfield going to look like an 11 out of 10 game? Yes, a resounding yes.
Good.
That game
good
looks
to hear
incredible.
about
that. It's almost like hard to believe. Like, you guys say it can do all of the stuff, but holy moly. Yeah, I'm excited about that game for sure. Let's see, is the Starfield showcase on June 11th going to show us what they really meant by jetpack sex? They did not. No. You guys both got.
You had to wait and buy the game, and then you see 2 jetpacks making tender love to each other.
Speaking of tender love, Baldur's Gate 3 also just announced that you can have sex with a bear in that game. So that's a thing.
As a human or as another bear? Or as a gate?
As a human. Yeah, as a gate.
I don't know. I don't know that you don't play as a gate.
Are we going to get a Call of Duty set in the future? This is the only one that I think no points awarded for either answer because we didn't really get anything on it. So that question's still
Duty didn't call.
up for grabs technically. But we're calling it right here. No one gets a point. In the Wholesome Direct on June 10th, will the number of cat games be greater than 10? The correct answer was no. There was only like 7 or 8. I don't remember exactly how many. But interestingly enough, one of them, the title of it, I believe, is pronounced Pico, spelled Pekoe. It's a cute cat game where you can drink tea with all your cat friends.
Oh yeah, that is a tea.
Yeah, it's a really cute one. I did not realize it at the time of watching the Wholesome Direct. That game is written by Stephanie Cook, who we've interviewed here on the show.
Stephanie.
Yeah.
Stephanie's good with cute animals.
Exactly. Rachel is in our chat and said they should have went with frogs. Yeah, for some reason,
T-frogs.
This year was frogs. Everything was cute little hoppy boys hopping around.
Man.
Hoppity hop. Will the Indiana Jones game on Xbox be exclusive? The answer is yes. We did not find that information out through Xbox's showcase or anything like that. There's a big merger that is happening, and the FTC is bringing it to court and all of that stuff. They've had a bunch of hearings. The FTC lost, and now they're appealing, and all this stuff. But in the like documents that got submitted to the court, one of the things we found out was yes, they plan for Indiana Jones to be exclusive to Xbox. So you guys both got the points on that one. Will we see a Death Stranding 2 trailer? The answer was no. We didn't see one.
No.
Is Xbox
Death Strand again?
I mean, it's coming. It's happening. We've already gotten one trailer, but I was expecting to see more Death Stranding stuff there, but we did not. Next one was, is Xbox going to get any exclusive love from Disney excluding Indiana Jones? The answer was no. At least for right now. There was just no word on that. Are Fable or Avowed going to even be mentioned at the Xbox showcase? You guys both wrote no. The answer was yes. We saw Fable. We got a new trailer for Fable on that. And then last but not least, are we going to get a release date for either the Plucky Squire or Skate Story at the Devolver Digital Direct? And the answer was no. And you had said yes to both. So the 8-ball got the point there. But yeah, you I think the score was 6, 7, 8 to 7. So very, very close one. But Melissa, you are, at least for this year, you are more magical than an 8-ball.
Thank goodness. I don't know what I would have done if I was less. The 8-ball is to host the show now. Right.
Superman Legacy. Let's move on to that. We got some new casting announcements this week, including Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, Edie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific. I hope I'm pronouncing these names right. Isabella Merced as Hawk Girl, and Anthony Kerrigan as Metamorpho. I've seen a few other ones floating around that I don't think are true, that I didn't write down here. I saw someone cast as Batman, but I didn't see anyone else reporting it, so I was just like, I don't think so.
Nice try.
Yeah, nice try. Not happening. But yeah. I know it's kind of hard to tell what this movie is going to be exactly. I think especially by these casting announcements. These were not characters I was expecting to be in the Superman Legacy movie. Melissa, do you have any kind of thoughts, reactions? What were you expecting, or how has this surprised you since they've announced this?
We don't even know the foe of the movie. I mean, it's Lex Luthor. I guess we did know that.
Probably.
I was thinking more in terms of like big picture, like, you know, I'm from space sort of foe, not just like a bald guy in a suit sort of enemy. So we don't know like exactly what the story is going to shape up to be. I was expecting to learn more about people who, like, here's, you know, if we have a big bad who isn't Lex Luthor yet, or these are, you know, your not Thomas and Martha, Joseph and Martha, Superman's dad.
Just Ma and Pa Kent. That's
Ma and Pa Kent.
That's all they say. Yeah.
I'd like to get to know them personally as individuals outside of being Clark's parents.
If you got to know them personally, they are the kind of Midwestern family that would be like, call me Ma and Pa, right? Like
that's
Ma and
true.
Pa Kent,
that's true.
Right?
I don't have to learn his first name. He would ask me to call him Pa.
Exactly.
Good point. So yeah, I was surprised to learn that there's quite a number of other heroes who have been named, especially characters like a Green Lantern who may barely have anything to do with Earth. They're all the way out there in space. They got a whole galaxy to watch over.
Yeah.
And I know Nathan Fillion has been fan casted in the past, typically as a Hal Jordan. So getting him as a Guy Gardner is an interesting twist.
If I'm not mistaken, he voiced Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, in one of the animated movies, I believe. There is one where Nathan Fillion plays him, but I can actually see him as Guy Gardner. Like, I think that's kind of what they're going for with that character in the comics. Guy Gardner is just this very conservative, right-wing, I'm a man, machismo, right, just that kind of bravado that is, like, he is a character you love to hate. One of my favorite moments in comics is in Justice League International from the late 80s, and there's a scene where Batman punches Guy Gardner right in the face and just knocks him out, and everyone's just like, oh shit, one fucking punch, you knocked him out, oh my god. It is great. So I hope we get something like that down the road, but like, Nathan Fillion is a very charismatic actor, right? Like, people really like him, but he's also that, like, he's what Tony was talking about when he's like, I'm gonna punch you in your perfect teeth, right? Like, that's kind of who Nathan Fillion is. He's a handsome dude, so I can see people being like, I really hate you, but I kind of like you, dude. Like, you know, I love to hate you, but you're part of the team, I guess, right?
And who knows what sort of journey Guy Gardner will go on. Like, maybe it'll be something akin to Peacemaker, and now he's like trying to unlearn things, trying to be a better person.
And just bad at it. Yeah. That'd be an interesting take. I'm glad to see, and again, I hope I'm saying his name right, Edie Gathegi. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but of course I remember him as Darwin from X-Men First Class, and everyone is still upset about that. The one X-Men who can't die because he can evolve past anything, and they're just like, but what if we explode him from the inside and like magma? And it's like, no, he can evolve.
This is a character who has to come back in this new Deadpool movie. I think Deadpool should write whatever that wrong was.
Also, just like yank him out of the like time stream, like in that moment. Yeah, that'd be great.
We saved Darwin. Darwin's just around all the time now. Welcome to the MCU, Darwin. We picked him up from like 1968. He's got a lot to adjust to.
Yeah. In fact, we
I
have
remember-
a great notebook. Captain America himself used this coming out of the ice, right? And he's like, who's Captain America?
I remember this actor from the aforementioned House.
Sure. Yep. Yeah.
Always good and stuff. Happy to see him pop up in this.
Yeah, I think he'll be a great Mr. Terrific. I'm not super familiar with Isabella Merced, but Hawk Girl is a character that I really, really love from the cartoons. So I'm hoping for some good stuff there with her. Anthony Carrigan, I've seen him in a bunch of stuff, but never in stuff that I can point to like a specific role. I know he just got I think he also just got like an Emmy nominated or something for his work in Barry, I believe. I think he's in that.
I think I did
show.
see that.
But he will make a great Metamorpho. I think that's gonna be fantastic. Yeah, it's interesting to think of, because when he said the name Superman Legacy, we were like, okay, so he's probably going to be pulling from All-Star Superman because that's about Superman's legacy. Then they also announced Superman Rebirth, which is Mark Waid's take on like Superman origin story / year one kind of thing happening. And there was another one he mentioned that I wasn't familiar with that story. But with the inclusion of Mr. Terrific and Metamorpho, people have been speculating, like, what if he's doing like Justice League International, like they're setting that stuff up, or the Terrifics, which it should be something that I think one day we cover on the review show, Melissa. I think you'd be into that one, in the sense that the Terrifics was a team made shortly after the New 52, I think, got started. But they were essentially like, what if DC Comics had a team that was the Fantastic Four, but in DC? And Mr. Terrific is on that, and Metamorpho is on that. So, yeah, there's been some interesting thoughts, and I don't know. The first thing that came to my mind was, I don't know, this movie's getting a little bloated with characters that I don't know why they even need to be there. But I did see James Gunn put out a tweet of like, just to reassure you all, I'm not putting these characters in to like set stuff up, to like set up their movies or launch something else. Like, they are truly there to tell Superman's story as best we can, which is interesting. So again, James Gunn has a decent track record with these superhero movies, so I trust him, but also I don't know. We don't know what this is yet, so
they could be part of some sort of crime foiling plot that Superman is in. Or maybe we spend a good amount of time with Lois and we see Lois interviewing these people or covering a story they're involved in. They might be part of her story.
Yeah. Or we just see them by name. Like, we don't see them as like them off superheroing yet, or like the things haven't happened to them. Or that gets a flashback of Superman teaming up and saving the day with Guy Gardner, right? Who knows? Or they're out in space. Something like that. So interesting stuff with that. But last but not least, on the back of that, we just got word today, the day that we are recording this, that SAG-AFTRA is on strike. They are officially striking, along with the Writers Guild of America. This is the first time that there has been a dual strike since 1960, which I thought was an interesting fact there. But I want to wish them all the best of luck. Yes. Stay strong. I fully support you guys. All of that stuff. I hope that we can come to a positive resolution. And I hope you guys get what you need. stuff like that. But I did see this tweet from Variety that I thought was kind of interesting. Let me see if I can pull this up on screen. Because as this news was coming out, the premiere of Oppenheimer is also happening right now. And one of the big headlines immediately after the news that the strike is official, it's happening now, was that both Emily Blunt and Cillian Murphy got up and walked out of the Oppenheimer premiere because they have to. They are, if they are on strike, there's a bunch of stuff that they're not allowed to do. And so here's what this tweet was saying. It says, during the strike, SAG-AFTRA members cannot do the following. They cannot go on tours, do personal appearances, interviews, conventions, fan expos, festivals, for your consideration events, panels, premieres or screenings, award shows, junkets, podcast appearances, social media, studio showcases, and then they go on to do a bunch of extra stuff of like, here's like on camera work that they cannot do, here's some off camera work that they can't do, just some interesting stuff that I was not aware of, like the extent or the length to which they are striking, right? Or what all of the strikes mean for when they do. So even stuff with all of the like Emmy nominations and awards that are coming up, like if they're still striking by time that's supposed to happen, they're not gonna be there. I have a feeling they would try to postpone it indefinitely. But I don't know. I don't know what's happening with all of that right now. So I don't know. I just thought that was interesting, fascinating. Good stuff. I really don't have much else to say on it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's happening. You know, it's official. Good luck.
I acknowledge it. Yes, I hope everybody's feeling clear-headed and optimistic and supportive of one another. I have enough stress at my own job. I haven't felt like I've been in a great headspace to dig too much into the strife other people have been feeling at their jobs. So I haven't been following this very closely. I sincerely don't.
It just happened today.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I think that may about wrap us up for this episode of the podcast. So yeah, Melissa, where can the people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at WilkyWit. That's WILKYWIT. And listen to my other podcast, Saturday Morning Obscurities.
There you go. You guys can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter and on Threads. If you'd like to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter and at the Whatnauts official on Threads. So go like, share, subscribe. You guys know the deal with all of that. If you're watching this on YouTube, we got plenty more videos right over there on that side of the screen. That would help us out a ton. You could go click on those. But yeah, this has been I don't remember the number. We will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.